You know that feeling when you bite into a tomato that's so fresh, so full of flavor, it makes you wonder what you've been eating all this time? Well, that's the magic of growing your own food. So in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to do it, without any synthetic chemicals. And trust me, it's way easier than you think. Just for a second, close your eyes and really picture it. You're walking out into your backyard, or maybe just your balcony, and you pluck a perfectly ripe tomato right off the vine. It's still warm from the sun. You can smell that incredible earthy scent, and the taste, it's on a whole other level than what you get from a store. That simple joy right there is what we're talking about today. But, okay, let's be real. For a lot of us, that beautiful vision gets a little fuzzy when we start thinking about the how. I mean, gardening can seem complicated, right? And organic gardening? That sounds even more intimidating. Where do you possibly begin if you want to skip all the chemicals and just work with nature? Well, here's the really good news. The secret to having this amazing chemical-free garden isn't about learning a long list of complicated chores. Nope. It all comes down to a really simple shift in how you look at things, a focus on one single, powerful idea. And that big secret? It's been hiding right under our feet this whole time. It is all about the soil. So, let's dig in and find out what makes it so important.
This slide right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. In chemical gardening, you're pretty much just feeding the plant directly with these fast-acting fertilizers. The soil is just there, holding the roots. But in organic gardening, you flip that whole idea on its head. You feed the soil, and when you have healthy, living soil, it takes care of feeding your plants for you. It's a complete game changer.
And the magic ingredient in this living soil is something called soil organic matter, or SON for short. Now, that sounds technical, but it's not. It's basically all the stuff in the soil that is, or once was, alive. We're talking about decomposed leaves, old plant roots, and billions of teeny tiny organisms. It's not just dirt, it's the living, breathing heart of your garden.
So why is this organic matter so crucial? Well, look at this. First, it makes your soil act like a giant sponge, holding onto water so you don't have to water nearly as often. Second, it's like a fully stocked pantry of nutrients for your plants, releasing them slowly, right when they're needed. It also creates this perfect, crumbly, airy structure that roots absolutely love to grow in. And get this, it can even help fight off plant diseases naturally. How amazing is that?
Okay, so if healthy plants start with healthy soil, the next big question is, how do we actually feed the soil? What is it like to eat? And the answer is actually really simple and kind of wonderful. One of the best things you can possibly give your soil is something you can make right at home for free, using stuff you'd probably just throw away. I'm talking about compost, which gardeners lovingly call black gold, and for a very, very good reason. And starting a compost pile is not as complicated as it sounds, I promise. You just need a mix of what we call greens, think kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, grass clippings, and browns, like dry leaves or shredded newspaper. You just layer them up, keep the pile about as damp as a wrung-out sponge, and then just give it a little turn with a pitchfork every week or two to give it some air. And that's it. Seriously, nature does all the hard work.
So you might be wondering, how does our homemade compost compare to something like manure? Well, they're both good, but compost has some really great advantages, especially when you're just starting out. See, it releases nutrients slowly and steadily, which plants love. It is absolutely excellent for the long-term health of your soil. And here's a big one. The composting process usually kills off any pesky weed seeds, so you don't have to worry about surprise weeds popping up all over your garden.
Now, this is the part I find absolutely fascinating. When you add that amazing compost to your garden, you're not just adding nutrients, you are literally inviting in a whole team of tiny, microscopic helpers.
That's right, you're not gardening all by yourself anymore. You basically become the manager of this massive invisible workforce. Billions of bacteria, fungi, worms, and all sorts of other little organisms are in that soil, working for you 24/7, creating the perfect home for your plants.
And these little guys have some very important jobs. Think of them as your personal chefs, breaking down all that organic matter into a delicious meal your plants can actually eat. They're also your engineers, building little tunnels and gluing soil particles together to create that spongy, airy structure. They're bodyguards, fighting off nasty diseases. And they are master recyclers, turning old leaves and kitchen scraps into that precious black gold we talked about. All right, so now we understand our soil and we've met our team of tiny helpers. It's time to bring it all together. It's time to actually get our hands a little dirty. If you only remember one thing from all of this, let it be this, right here. The big secret to growing amazing, healthy vegetables without chemicals, well, it isn't a secret at all. It's just a simple equation. Healthy soil equals healthy plants. It really is that simple.
So what do you think? Ready to give it a shot? And remember, you do not need a huge backyard to do this. You can absolutely start small. Try a single pot of basil on a sunny windowsill, or maybe a container of lettuce on the balcony. The exact same principles apply. Just feed your soil and let your soil feed the plants.
So really, what are you waiting for? Every single seed you plant is a little step toward better health, a closer connection to nature, and that simple joy of life we were talking about. Believe me, there's nothing quite like the pride and happiness of eating something you grew with your own 2 hands. Thanks so much for joining me, and happy gardening.